it to you. You were born with power.
Some very sad news for all of you and people who love peace all over the world. Martin Luther King was shot and was killed tonight in Memphis.
I will never say that progress is being made. If you stick a knife in my back 9 inches and pull it out 6 inches, there's no progress. You pull it all the way out, that's not progress. The progress is healing the wound that's below me. Below me.
I'm hearing revolution in the air. Tell me, brother, talk to me.
But the hard truth is that not everyone is sharing in this city's splendor and glory. There are more poor than ever, more families in trouble, more and more people who need it.
Haru, my brother, stand by.
Help but can't find it.
All right.
A struggle against the common enemies of man, tyranny, poverty, disease, and war itself.
We believe that all men are created equal, yet many are denied equal treatment.
And so we say to all in this nation who would dare listen to us, black, white, Jew, Gentile, Asian, Latino, that we are brothers and sisters in a long and difficult struggle.
We have a government, sir, that needs to be opened up before the American people.
White folk rule us with fear. It is not white people, it's your fear.
Good morning, sister.
That you gotta be free.
How are you?
All right, Sister Karen, good morning. How are you?
I'm great.
All right, I got Brother Chris on the phone here with us as well. Are you there, Chris?
Yes, I am.
All right. First and foremost, Karen Greer, would you introduce yourself as well as your president of NENA?
Hello, everyone. My name is Karen Greer. I'm the vice president of NENA for the Northside Business Owners and Nonprofits.
Okay. And NENA stands for Northside Independent Neighborhood Association?
Yeah, that is correct.
Okay. And on the phone with us also is Chris. Would you introduce yourself, please?
All right. I am Christopher Gladney. I am the president of NENA, or the Northside Independent Neighborhood Association.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I asked you two guys to come on here this morning because I wanted to talk about NENA, and I want to make sure that I do everything within my power to make sure that everyone's aware of NENA. And I'm counting on you two to help me translate to the community, for lack of better words. What is NENA? Why is NENA? What is the purpose of NENA? What is NENA going to do? And how can NENA benefit this, for lack of better words, this poverty-stricken, disinvested community that has been neglected for so long? What role will NENA play in the redevelopment? What role will NENA play in aiding and assisting a people that have been left behind and left out? Okay, so who's going to go first?
Well, I can essentially, answer that question. So, NENA was born, based off the fact that we have a city, St. Louis, that is, incredibly impoverished, especially here on the north side.
Yes.
And also, too, we wanted NENA, and let me just read a couple of the purposes to give people a better idea. So one of the purposes of NENA is to improve the current quality of life
here on the north side of St. Louis, which is really going to foster a sense of community and also advocating for, the neighborhood's interest to become self-determining, self-reliant, and self-sustaining. And I think that's so incredibly important because, we look at a city at the north side, it's so powerless, and we want to be able to bring power, to particularly the Black community here on the north side. And then also, too, the purpose of the association will be basically to promote and protect the welfare, health, and safety of the members of the neighborhood, through collective action, through collective communication and collaboration. And most important part is, even though it's focused, in the College Hill neighborhood of the north side, we also want to collaborate with other neighborhoods like O'Fallon, Penrose, Hyde Park, Fairground, etc. Because we don't want a situation where you have one neighborhood doing something and other neighborhoods are out of the process or, not getting the benefit. All of us need to be able to benefit as the various neighborhoods, because it's all part of the north side. Now, and if we want economic development and College Hill, we want it for all of the north side.
One of the things that I advocate and I speak proudly about, and that is the mere fact that if we look around at our communities the way it looks now, if we just take a total evaluation of our communities, we should, in our right frame of mind, come to the conclusion that no one's going to save us but us. We as a people, as a community, we're going to have to roll up our sleeves and save ourselves because we're worth saving. I think so. Right. I think we are. And
I totally agree.
Sister Karen, you have been a business owner in the community, and you have been entitled with the role of vice president. Why do you want to see NENA grow and be available for those that want to be a part of something that brings about overdue and needed change for our people in our community?
Well, because I am a descendant of the benign neglect that Team 4 put in place for the North Side O'Fallon neighborhood and other surrounding communities. I came back not knowing that bit of history. Just because I was God-led, it led me back to the community that I grew up in. I was raised in. My parents lived at 2106 Adelaide, which is now, it was a four-family duplex that was beautiful, that was tore down, or it caught on fire, and I heard through the history that it was tore down. But at the end of the day, I came back to a community where I wanted to invest in, that I saw my vision. My vision, I was a real estate agent at the time, and I went back to a community and I saw a piece of land that was reasonable. I bought that piece of land, which was 4108 West Florissant Avenue, where I now house my home health care. I did have a new and used retail shop there, as well as my home health care, but I expanded the home health care. So when I saw the neglect, and after being there as a business owner, I was young, single mom with two kids, trying to make it through and navigate through a system that I knew nothing about, political and community-wise, only to be blocked out and blackballed by the neighborhood association. And so as a result of that, I started going to a lot of the town hall meetings and learning about the political structure, so I can understand the dynamics of that community, so I can adapt, learn how to adapt, to be a positive influence in the community. So through the time that I was there from now, which is 2 decades, I have fought through political blackballing and the bad businesses that are next to us, the gas stations, the bad food restaurants. We're in a food desert. So me, like the Uhuru and Mr. Christopher, who has the bakery that we fought for to make sure we got in the community, I came back as a black business owner. And so for me to fast forward to this opportunity to be in NENA as a VP, I feel like I'm a catalyst along with the Uhuru and Mr. Christopher and Prince, you was right there next to me. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
Selling
15
your
years ago.
when I first moved.
15 years ago.
That's when I first met you.
Right.
Yeah, so I came back just like you was in the community. I knew nothing about it. But you know what I'm saying? It comes full circle as in this fight that we have to build the North Side and fight and win when it comes to the economic development. So I felt that it was my priority and duty to come back and contribute to NENA as a VP or whatever aspect. And this is to reach out to other people. You don't have to have a title to give back and make an improvement in your community. Show up, show out, because your investment, if you have property, if you're a resident, your duty is to be a diligent voter and to make sure that your investment is multiplied. You need to see a return on your investment. And so that's what we're here for, is to see the economic growth and development of the Northside communities that is so heavily underserved, that is so heavily redlined, so heavily blackballed by some of the neighborhood associations because we don't align with what their vision is. But as long as we come to the same goal, that's our objective.
Absolutely. And, you know, one of the things that I want to make sure we're clear on right now in the beginning of this, and I'm going to ask Chris to answer this question as it relates to the NENA, Northside Independent Neighborhood Association. I want to keep saying it because it's a new term, and I want people to understand when I say NENA, I'm saying the Northside Independent Neighborhood Association. Chris, in your very own words, who has a right to be a part of this organization? Who can join NENA? And what can they do to aid and assist NENA in getting to the next level?
Well, NENA is open to everyone.
Wait, hold on. I want to be clear on this. I heard you say that the Northside Independent Neighborhood Association is open to who?
Everyone.
Okay, that means anyone within the community that wants to be a part of this can get involved.
Yes.
We all have input.
It's unlike any other. Yeah, it's unlike any other neighborhood association because, again, we want to break out of, isolation. You have one neighborhood association over here, one over here, one over here, but we need to work together as the North Side in order for us to, to deal with and, call a question to the city about the benign neglect that has been happening here in the North Side for so many decades. We have to be able to come together. It can't just be an isolated place over here and an isolated place over there. Everybody can be a part of this. And also with that too, right now in 2025, membership is free.
Okay,
nobody has to pay anything about the money. It's about overturning the current conditions that we face, that we see every single day here on the North Side.
Chris, one of the things that got me excited about NENA, and I was just introduced to NENA this past Wednesday, and I'm telling you, I'm probably one of the biggest fans right now of NENA, and I'm excited about it because I see the potential. I see the ability to unite our people to save ourselves, opposed to sitting around waiting on somebody to come and save us. We can take this organization and unite like never before. Just like you were just saying about this neighborhood association here, this neighborhood association there. But if we all band together, we all have power together, unified power to get things done. So I'm excited about it, man. I just wanted to talk about it this morning. I want to walk people through the process. How often does the organization, and how often will the organization meet?
It meets the last Tuesday of each month.
Okay. So whatever that last Tuesday is, at 6 o'clock, and currently the meeting is at 4101 West Florissant, correct?
Yes, for now it is at 4101 West Florissant Avenue, yes.
Every Last
And
Tuesday of each month.
Yes, the last Tuesday in March. This month will be the 25th at 6 p.m.
And so anybody that's willing to, okay, let me ask you this, Chris. Let's say
STL.org. They can go on the website and they can inquire, what's going on, what's it about. They can see some of the things that we've posted on there about certain issues that face the community, and they can get questions answered there. There's a way in which people can. Yes, that's the Facebook page, NinaSTL.org. They can also email us at info@NinaSTL.org. So they can email us and whatever questions they have, if they're willing to, come aboard and volunteer, we're going to be having, upcoming things as far as activities and so forth to, help, address the needs of the community, bring the community together. Because, one of the things that I have seen, just going door to door is the fact that nobody talks to the people.
Mm-hmm.
You got these politicians that are running around. They don't talk to the people.
They're left out. And it's done that way.
You know what, Prince, I disagree with that sometimes. It's not that they're left out, it's that they exclude themselves out because they have been, the imposed on them has been neglect, lack of transparency, and distrust. So when you get to that plateau, it's almost like Stockholm syndrome. They used to it, so that's what they adapt to. That's why they don't go out and vote, because they don't believe in the system that works for them, because they're our walk scorecards, and when we're making decisions for our communities, what our need is. We don't have a lot of people that's showing up at the town hall meeting saying, hey, this is what our need is. This is what our fight is. We need the black businesses. We need these type of restaurants in our community so we don't have to go out our community to spend our dollars. Mm-hmm. So we got to make our dollars make sense for us.
That was one of the
keep our community thriving.
That was one of the things I was excited about. This past Friday, they had the national blackout, and it's to my understanding, it's going to be a monthly thing that we're going to be asking people of color to stand firm in solidarity with the power of their black dollars, and not to spend it outside of the community or with other people that don't respect us each 28th day of the month. I think that's something,
not like us.
Right. I agree with that, Karen. One of the things that I think that Nina will ultimately end up doing is alluding to what Karen was saying, that too often we have began to accept what is called the norm. The norm is you're not included. The norm is your voice doesn't count. The norm is you don't have a say in this, and I think that it's time out for that. It's time out for that. One of the things I've noticed, and that is that with this technology, we have better ways of communicating and more ways of getting out information.
Is first and foremost when it comes to a political aspect, when it comes to the census. Census reporting is very instrumental, very important to the money coming to these communities. A lot of people don't promote census reporting. Census reporting is what put the money in a community when it comes to the federal and state, right?
Right.
I went to a conference, and I'm still learning about the census reporting. When you get those census reports, they only count for every so many years, right?
Right.
Your walk scorecard determines how much money you're allocated in the community. Just like we got the SLDC that's saying, hey, we're making an impact in certain communities. That's the same thing almost with census. Mm-hmm. So we make sure that we have to count when it comes to census, when it comes to diversity, when it comes to businesses, when it comes to nonprofits, and what necessary resources that we are providing in the communities, right? Mm-hmm. You got to report that. So when the funding comes down, They see all of that comes down with it. But St. Louis, what I recognize, don't highlight census as a very important component when it comes to the money that is allocated for certain communities. Just like that COVID ARPA money. They came down because it was applied to, because it was a need in a certain demographic of community.
The hood census tract. The hood census tract.
Yes.
And our local elected officials. I'm sorry,
right,
our local
census is very important.
Right. Our local elected officials have issues in our community unlike any other community. And we have to going to figure out ways to overcome those obstacles, because that's what, in my opinion, they are obstacles. But when we talk about the census, if a person is only here for 2 or 3 months and then they have to move to another side of town or another area, that hurts our census as well.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And also,
you got a
too,
lot
just
of,
looking at...
I'm sorry, go ahead.
We're just looking at all the abandoned properties and buildings that are in the area. I mean, a lot of these buildings can be bought up, by the community so that people will have stable, steady housing. There's just so much that can be done. And also, too, I think people, when it comes to education, there are community meetings that also happen on Sundays at 3:00, where people can get not only information about NINA, but information about other organizations that are actively, fighting against the status quo, fighting against, the heinous actions of City Hall. And they also happen at 4101 West Florissant. It is called the Uhuru House. And people can come there to get more information on other organizations that are also actively, fighting to expose what the city does, expose the conditions, but also, help to work towards, bringing people on.
I have to say it. I can't say it enough. I'm excited about NINA. I thank God for NINA. I thank God that NINA was born, because it gives me, as an individual in the community that has been truly, just for lack of better words, ticked off for years of the deterioration of my neighborhood. When I moved over in this area, I didn't move. My grandmother moved in College Hill back in 1970. And we used to come on the weekends to visit and stay the weekends. And when we came to this neighborhood, there were no vacant lots. There were businesses and houses back to back to back to back to back. It was a thriving neighborhood. When you came down that West Florissant corridor, everything you needed and wanted, you could get it between Grand and Warren. Or even up to the park. We had ice cream parlors, TV repair shops, record shops. We had dry cleaners. We had, I believe it was Woolworths or auto parts places. There was everything that you needed. You can walk to in the neighborhood. You didn't have to even get in a car. But back then, everybody didn't have a car. Also. So it played a role. There were things in that neighborhood that fed that neighborhood, and that neighborhood thrived off of. But now it looks as if a bomb was dropped in that area. And when they told me that they were in the opposition of opening a bakery, that really got me motivated and upset. I said, no, not on my watch. I'm going to do everything in my power to aid and assist this fight. And when I joined forces with the fight that was already in progress, we were able to overcome that. Guess what? Now there's going to be
for like 22 years.
Longer than that, brother.
On and on.
It's been longer than that. It was a restaurant, as far as I can remember, that location. But again, the fight was fought. The victory was won, and that's just one victory, and 1,000 more to come. I believe. I really believe that once people find out and truthfully can see what NINA is and what NINA can provide for a disinvested community, a neglected area of our community. And again, you talk about uniting folks. If you have a neighborhood, or this is the way I envision this, and this is the way I see it, and correct me here if I'm wrong. But let's say, for instance, if there's a neighborhood organization been struggling to get something done as simple as a building torn down or rehab or what have you, and they've been neglected and just disrespected for so long, oftentimes they give up. But when they become a part of NENA, they have more backbone. They have more power. They have more resources to say, this is unacceptable. This neighborhood organization have been fighting for this for far too long. They need this. We as a community demand it. And I think with NENA, that will be able to happen.
And if I can interject, you are so... I'm sorry. If I can interject you for a minute, you are so very right. You got a demographic of people, a diverse demographic of people from South City to North City and beyond.
Merely submitting today and saying that, from my vision and where I'm sitting and what I'm seeing, is NENA can be that beacon of hope, that beacon of inspiration that's so desperately needed for our people and our community. And anything and anybody that would be in opposition of NENA does not have the interests of the black community at heart. I stand on that.
Absolutely.
I stand on that. Absolutely. And one of the things I want to just interject here is about the Haruru house that came into the community some 7 or 8 years ago. I thought it was longer than that, but I'm being told it's only been 7 or 8 years. But one of the first things that I noticed about this organization, what they did was they brought up the little house, the building where they're at in the house, and across the street, that little land there. A friend of mine, the late, great Gary Brooks, lived right next to the lot, and he had a lot of his stuff on that little vacant lot that Haruru had purchased and brought up. And never once did they apply any pressure and say, you got to get this stuff off our lot, this our lot, da. They didn't do that. They sat down, they talked to Mr. Brooks and told him what they were trying to do and asked him what did he need to help get his stuff and how much time. They didn't pressure him. They didn't say, this is ours, you got to get your stuff off. They worked with that elderly man who has unfortunately passed last November. But not only did they do that, but they put a mirror of Mr. Brooks on the wall. Mr. Brooks was a beacon and inspiration to me in this community. He bailed me out and a number of elders.
Being a faithful customer, he came over and introduced himself to me, how long he's been in the community, and bought stuff just to make sure that I stay alive and thrive as a new business owner, coming back in the community that riddled the black enterprise. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean,
so he is a pillar.
Yes, he was. Chris, where do you see our community going in the days to come with unified participation?
Well, with unified participation, the sky's the limit as far as
absolutely
where the future lies for the Northside community, particularly the black community here. Again, being organized and unified is the primary thing, because once you're organized and unified, any program or project that we set forth to put down will get put down and enacted and forward, the progress, for this community. And I also wanted to put out that if people want to be members of NENA, they can go to tinyurl.com/NENA membership.
They can do it right at home, right on the computer or the cell phone. They can do it now.
They can do it. They can do it right at home, right now. Go online. If they don't have a computer, they can.
Nothing as it relates to organized commitments to a cause. What would you say to that person that's listening right now?
I would say to that person, don't have any fears about being a part of organization, but come check it out. Come hear what's being said. Come see the evidence of the results of the work that has taken place already. And they can make their mind up from there. But I would definitely encourage them to be a member, because that gives them an opportunity to be plugged in. And that's what we want to do. We want to plug people in into making a real future, in our own capable hand. We see what City Hall has not done. We can do it. It's been said before, we can do it. And they can be a part of the process. If they don't understand something, feel free to ask questions. If they want to take on a particular role, but they're not sure exactly how to do it, we can guide them. But never fear about being a part of organization, because that's the only way that real change is going to happen, is by being organized.
What would you be in agreement with me when I say that enough people engaged, enough people on board on a unified front, that we as a people can begin the process of us saving not only our community, our children, and ourselves as a whole? We can, in saving our entire community, but it's got to start somewhere, and NENA is the place for it to start.
I agree with you, but I'm gonna play devil advocate.
Devil don't need no advocate, but go ahead.
So when it comes to us working with each other, I have traveled and worked with people in different states in civil rights or civil advocacy aspect. And St. Louis has a different culture.
Absolutely.
A lot of times we blackball and hurt each other when it comes to culture and race. We have to get to a point where we understand that we have to, and it is a must that we work with each other. That's why we saw so many Black people moving out, not only the state, but out the country from St. Louis. We lost a lot of our Black residents and Black business owners because we cannot stick together. We have to find a very cause, reason, and stand on it. We are so divided. When you look at what we're dealing with now, you got our political demographic hurting our own demographic of people.
Absolutely. And you know,
so we have.
Go ahead, Karen.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Karen.
So when it comes to NENA, why I was so enthused to join is because there is a diverse demographic of people and supporters. And when it comes to gentrification, when you come to Black communities, we so scared.
Especially here, African working class here.
I bear witness to that. I bear witness.
And it makes people fearful and distrustful of organization. And NENA is the institution that says, no, you don't have to be fearful or distrustful of organization, because we are fighting hard to overturn what's been done to us by those politicians that look like us, And unfortunately, as you said, we've seen the evidence of that. But that's why we are working to overturn that. But I really want to say that organization is the key to solving problems.
Absolutely.
That we face. Absolutely. Because if we don't have organization, we don't have anything. We don't have, commerce in the community. We don't have a community. We don't have vibrant neighborhoods without that commerce. And just to say that, the victory of Uhuru Bakery Cafe should be the catalyst for other businesses, Black businesses in particular, to be able to come in and establish businesses in the community. Because, you just stated earlier, there used to be, shops.
Back to back.
There's nothing. And we want to bring that back. And NENA can play a critical role in bringing that back. Because one of the things, especially for me, that sticks in my craw is how horribly the ARPA either starved out Black businesses, forced to close them permanently, or businesses are hanging by a thread. And NENA should be able to have a catalyst and say, no. We need these funds. We need you as the people to be a part of this process, so that we can start to make some changes in the community. Let's do our own fundraising. Let's do our own rebuilding. And that's the thing that we have to do. We have to really organize the people. Be, again, knocking on doors, shaking hands, making friends, and really, engaging the people. That's where the power is, when we engage the people and give the people a chance to speak out. Nobody's had a chance to really speak out against, the fact that every day they come outside their door, they see the same vacant, falling down, collapsing in on itself buildings, and nothing's being done about it. And we can't have that anymore. I mean, this is 2025, and those days of the community being run over, rush shot, no, that's over. We have to organize the community, and we have the power to be able to do that through NENA.
One of the things that the other night, and I was offered to come up and be a part of the organization, and I was hesitant because I wanted to find something that I'm good at first and foremost to bring to the table. And I've been thinking about it, and I'm gonna just throw this out there while we're on the air. I have a vision of being a part of some form of youth initiative where we can take excited about this movement, and I want everyone to know within the sounds of my voice that we got something to be a part of. But Chris, I have to ask you this question, and it's probably a question that some folks are going to frown on, but I'm going to throw it out there anyway. Is there any place in NENA for the black churches to come and volunteer and be a part of?
I say yes. I mean, the community goes to the churches. The community, the community is involved with the churches, and the churches can be involved as well. Because, again, they're in the neighborhood. They're in the community.
Right. So they should be a part of this rebuilding process.
Well,
Yes, exactly.
Chris, if you can tell them that we do have positions open right now, that we're looking for members and executive members as well, and to put together the youth a committee or a youth division that would help with that, that would be great. If you can shed some more light on that, that would be great.
Yeah, but, I envision, because we have to find tangible things in our community anyway for our young people to do and to be a part of, and to give them a sense of pride in their community, give them a sense of hope, to include them in the rebuilding process. There needs to be a youth phase of this NENA to aid and assist in, if it's nothing more than painting a wall or something. To beautify our neighborhoods, painting fences. We need to teach our young people how to do things. And that came back when I used to have the shop next door to you, and you would see the kids come with their bikes, discretion. So I think that we got to find ways to become back to that village that we once were. And the village has been stripping from our people in our community, and we need to bring that village back so that we can begin the process of bringing about overdue and needed change. And I can't say it enough. But Chris, as it relates to the statement you made about the churches, I really believe that for the most part, a lot of the churches, we've lost a lot of churches like we've lost everything else post-COVID. COVID was one of the things that shook our country up so bad. And fires. Exactly, and that too. But I'm one who bear witness of the residual effects of COVID. My business has been operating on life support for the last 2 or 3 years, and one of the things that has been keeping me afloat and keeping me motivated is that I knew that the government had sent this money that I'm entitled to, and I qualified for it, and I just didn't think that they would go to the extremes that they've been going through to prevent me from getting that money. And it's really sad, but we're going to deal with that at a later date. But I think that NENA is the answer to a lot of our issues, a lot of our problems, and it could be what it needs to be for our people in our community. I'm just so excited about it, and I want the world to know. Before we get out of here, I want both of you guys to sum up some of the things that you might want to sum up and touch on the last minute, and talk to us about it. Chris, if you don't mind, you can go first, and then we'll hear from Karen. We want to plead to this community about
things that are going to be happening in the community in the next few months. There's going to be a Black Community Convention that's going to be happening June 21st, Saturday, June 21st, and Sunday, June 22nd. And that's really going to be a big process that can really bring a lot of the community together, and especially the Black community here on the North Side, in which Nina can, play a critical role in that as well. Again, we want to be able to address all of the issues that we see that face us on a daily basis, from the housing, the dilapidated housing, the conditions of our young people. As we said before, we want to overturn the homelessness that we see that happens here in this community. So there's a lot of work that has to be done, not to mention the fact that we're going to need people to help out with outreach, canvassing in the community. We're going to be having more information coming out with our Nina brochures and other information. And we're going to need people that can, be street teams that can, go out and help do outreach, leave information at people's doors, knock on doors, talk with people, have clipboards in their hands.
Everybody has input. Everybody has input.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. And I just can't say enough that, membership is important. And the work that we're going to be doing is really, really critical, because too much has been going.
Miss Karen, Miss Vice President, if you don't mind, would you give your spin on this and your plea to the listening audience about Nina?
Man, this is an excellent opportunity to collaborate with like-minded people, like-minded associations, and community, so that we can make sure we make a better North Side, and we can make sure that we are the equity is equal, right? And when it's not, we have to fight together. When you stand united as a solid front, you definitely win. And I've seen this from experience. I came in not knowing anything, fighting by myself. It is a hard struggle to fight by yourself. When you collaborate with like-minded people in associations or organizations or entities, you definitely win, because one thing that people misunderstand is that the politicians work for us.
Right.
Well,
they're supposed to. They're supposed to.
Yes. And so when they don't, we have the power to make sure they don't sit in that seat again as a collective, unified group. I don't care if they're white, black, or any other nationality. If you're not for our community and the resources to make sure that we are have assets in like our other neighborhood communities, then we lose. So I feel like Nina is a catalyst to make sure that we collaborate. Again, we're not trying to run nobody's other communities or neighborhood associations. We want to collaborate so that you can win.
Access to them because they were sent here in your interest.
Absolutely. I look forward to it.
Okay. With that being said, I want to thank Madam President, Madam Vice President, and Mr. President of NINA, the Northside Independent Neighborhood Association. It's new. It's exciting. Don't let this train take off without you on it. I encourage everyone within the sound of my voice to find a role, to roll up your sleeves. Let's be a part of something that rebuilds us as a people, something that rebuilds us as a community, and begin the process of us saving ourselves. Because if you ain't figured it out by now, if you haven't noticed by now, nobody's going to come and save us. We must unite and save ourselves. And that's what NINA is all about, in my opinion. So with that being said, we're gonna jump on out of here. Thank you so much for your time, Madam Vice President and Mr. President. We love you. We appreciate you. Power to the people.
Thank you.
I think I'm hearing revolution in the air.
Have a blessed day.
I think I'm hearing revolution in the air. Tell me, brother, talk to me, sister. I think I'm hearing revolution in the air. Tell me, brother, talk to me, sister.
It is time for us to use our power. Please do not bear you. You were born with power.
But the hard truth is that not everyone is sharing in this city's splendor and glory. There are more poor than ever, more families in trouble, more and more people who need help but can't find it.
A struggle against the common enemies of man, tyranny, poverty, disease, and war itself.
We believe that all men are created equal, yet many are denied equal treatment.
And so we say to all in this nation who dare listen to us, black, white, Jew, Gentile, Asian, Latino, that we are brothers and sisters in a long and difficult struggle.
Brothers, sister.